Cassie.
Hi, Caitlyn.
Hi, creepy people.
Hello.
Oh, boy.
You got really...
All right. If you're new to our creepy corner of the world, this is P&W, Haunts and Homicides, where we chat about true crime, the paranormal, my wedding shoes, and all things creepy in the Pacific Northwest.
All of those are very true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is true?
What?
We also do a tarot reading at the end of every episode.
That is true.
We just want a little deeper insight into whatever we're talking about. It's fun.
Yeah. We like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you.
Yeah, I mean, we hope. And we do have some business we just discovered, didn't we?
We
Is
have
that what we
business?
decided?
Yeah, I think we have a little bit of business.
Okay, so the business is that if you'd like to come see us at True Crime Fest Northwest, then you can use our code HAUNTS10 and you'll get 10% off your ticket.
Did I do it right? Or is it this way?
Yep, there you go.
You definitely want to come see us because we'll have like the wheel spinning. It'll have mini tarot readings. We'll be there. You can get a picture with us. We'll autograph something for you because we're so famous, you guys.
She's really having fun with that. Okay.
No, I just think it's cute because like we've
Yeah.
actually had people like that wanted our autograph
Yeah.
in a picture. I thought it was really sweet. So
Yeah.
if you do want that, you can have it.
And then we'll melt and simply float away.
And we'll probably talk to you too long and you'll never be able to get away from us. Because we like
and you'll be like, wow, you're not that famous.
we just like meeting our creepy people.
We love it.
So yeah, we'll have that. We'll have stickers. We usually have free stickers floating about and
so many goodies.
Good time.
It's always a good time.
I don't know. Do we have balloons this time? What are we doing? Doing it up?
I haven't decided what the table is going to look like exactly, but yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, balloons at a true crime fest. Do people do that?
I don't know. We did it once before,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I've got a couple of ideas and we've done a couple of setups now for conventions. So we have some goodies already, kind of hanging out in storage bins. And I don't know. We'll
We
have
have fun
to.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know for sure we've got a black tablecloth.
That we do.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have quite a few of them.
And a runner with our artwork on it.
Yeah.
Those will be present and accounted for.
Yeah. And the wheel.
Always
the wheel.
Unless someone lost it. I know right where it is, actually. It's
I was
under
like,
my
I
desk.
don't think so.
On the left side, right side, because L, and this is L.
She looks like she's trying to land a plane.
Which is my left and my right. I couldn't land a plane because I would land them incorrectly because I don't know my left from my right.
Honestly, it kind of seems like it's pretty loosey-goosey on the airlines these days.
Is it? I don't know. It seems like it should be real strict.
Yeah, no, it seems like it should be. Sometimes the doors that you didn't know were doors just fly off the plane.
Oh, is this relating to your episode today?
Not today.
Oh.
Trust me, you guys, I've been tracking all of the stuff that's going on with Boeing, and I haven't felt ready to go there yet, but there's probably going to be a part 2 of that because, here's the thing. If they stop giving so much material, then like maybe there won't be, but
yeah,
there's already enough. There's already enough.
I don't like it. I don't like any of that.
No.
I love to travel and it makes me never want to get on a plane. So I'm just going to buy a bus and it's going to be my life.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit nervous because I'm thinking about doing some international travel for 2025 and holy shit.
Don't go over any oceans.
That's like all of the places.
I know. You'll be fine.
Fuckity fuck.
Everyone's fine. We're all fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get into the episode now.
Okay. I'm
I
ready.
solemnly swear.
Okay.
Okay. So I just thought it was really funny because you were asking me if you could use initials to name the audio file.
Yeah, you're being real secretive with me.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, initials would probably be like the worst thing. It would be like a super giveaway.
Are you doing DB Cooper? Because I'll kill you.
I thought you wanted me to do DB Cooper.
I wanted to do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah. Are you doing it? I'm down with that.
There's something that's happening with DB today. And
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how did you get that confused though? I told you I want, because you said you didn't want to cover it. And I said, oh, okay, I'll cover it. And I was like, I'll start researching.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you'll just have to see because like he might be involved.
Interesting. I'm excited. Let's go.
All right. Anthony Curcio was born September 1st, 1980 in Monroe, Washington, to a relatively middle-class family. His parents owned a successful landscaping company in the area, and Monroe has a relatively small population of about 20,000. In terms of economics, the bedroom community has been largely reliant on various aspects of the agricultural industry. So, dairy, logging, those lumberjacks. I know what they do to you. But it's also struggled at times in a more modern era. It's historically been an extremely close-knit community, according to locals. And as a teenager, Anthony, he was the captain of his football team and the basketball team.
Whoa, calm down.
Yeah. Take several seats
Superstar.
on the bench.
Wow, that's cool though.
Yeah. But that wasn't the only dream team that he was a part of. He was also dating one of the most popular girls in school, a beautiful cheerleader named Emily.
Of course he was. He's the captain of 2 teams. Like,
yeah.
He's got a cheerleader girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like a law.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it codified yet, but the high school sweethearts would go on to marry after college before having 2 daughters.
No.
I know, so cute. So wholesome. Before they started their family, Anthony followed in his father's footsteps, attending the University of Idaho on a football scholarship.
Wow.
Mm. His freshman year, he unfortunately found himself suspended from the football team because of his hard partying ways. Apparently you can drink too much even for the football team.
Man, that's like hard to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. His sophomore year, however, things were looking up. It seemed like his efforts to stay on the straight and narrow had him back on the right path, moving forward as a new coach took over the team. That was until he tore his ACL at practice.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I can hear that.
I don't want to think about it.
And I hate it.
No thanks.
It was an incredibly painful injury that sidelined him in more ways than one. Not only could he no longer play football due to the injury, but the medication prescribed to him as he attempted to recover sent him on a dark downward spiral.
That's never good.
No. Unfortunately, pain relief quickly morphed into serious substance use disorder. His addiction led to doctor shopping and, when necessary, turning to drug dealers for street drugs when prescription drugs were no longer available to him.
Damn.
Yeah. Anthony's addiction became a very expensive habit. Like buying designer shoes. Oh my God, it all comes back to the wedding shoes. I didn't even know. Oh my God. I couldn't have known. I
She
couldn't have
is
known.
just always thinking about shoes.
I'm just always thinking about shoes, apparently. But you only get to use drugs the one time.
I
Whereas
mean,
shoes are forever.
I hope so.
This has been your girl math segment for today.
You're actually saving money if you buy designer shoes instead of drugs.
Oh my God. My next line. You're welcome. I just saved you tens of thousands. No one can send you to rehab for having a hook to Jimmy Choo or Badgley Mishka.
Actually, I think they do have like shopping, like retail therapy, but
No.
no, retail therapy is the thing you're not supposed to do.
Shit. So when I was writing this next sentence, I went shopping yesterday and may have consumed slightly more shoe porn than is typically considered healthy. But I digress. Because, duh. Back to Anthony. To support his overwhelming addiction, he was known to sometimes dress up like a mover and would make off with other people's stuff on campus to sell on eBay.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's creepy too.
I know,
Ugh.
isn't it? This ruse did not require particularly fashionable footwear, however.
No, I can't imagine.
But this approach was somewhat time consuming. He was able over time to come up with another money making scheme. Actually, multiple. Later, he would go on to create and sell high value counterfeit baseball cards. This man and his sportsing.
Okay.
He could make thousands more this way in a fraction of the time. Which is ridiculous because are you going to make me say it? You can't even wear baseball cards.
You could if you tried really hard. You'd have to be a little artistic.
I thought about that comeback coming from you as I wrote this.
Like you could, anything is possible, Caitlyn.
Yeah, if you can wear a meat dress.
Exactly. Lady Gaga's next big crazy outfit should just be made from baseball cards.
I'm just saying I'm uncomfortable with announcing my measurements or sizes already. If I had to be measured as a human being in terms of number of baseball cards, I think I would die. Just absolutely pass away.
Oh my gosh. I could see this as like one of the challenges too on one of those shows like like RuPaul's or Project Runway, like make a dress out of baseball cards. Those would be fabulous, I'm sure.
So fabulous. It seemed like whenever he started to attract too much attention, he would just find a new way to make money. While Anthony worked furiously to manage his habit and the perceptions of those around him, he couldn't fool everyone. As his addiction progressed, those closest to him understood that he had a serious problem. They supported him in his struggle with addiction while he did multiple stints in rehab. By 2008, it seemed like things were going really well for Anthony and his family. They owned a beautiful home in Seattle and a real estate investment company.
Ooh, that's going to make some money.
Yeah, it would definitely make some money. I don't know if you happen to notice the year. Don't worry.
2008? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the time, he also happened to be balancing a habit of both Vicodin and various other illicit drugs to the tune of $15,000 a month.
Oh, God. That shit's expensive. Oh my God.
No, think of all the shoes he could have bought.
Yeah. Or anything else. Pretty rocks.
You know what?
Tarot cards.
He'd simply put Ms. Bradshaw to shame. Just kidding. We love you, Carrie.
She's never shamed.
No. But it was 2008. And in case you don't recall, or you maybe blacked it out for emotional and psychological reasons, there was a financial crisis brewing, particularly within the housing market.
Mhm.
Turns out that was a pretty tough time to be in the real estate biz.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Like the toughest since, I don't know, probably the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That old thing.
that old
That
thing.
old thing I kept talking about
Yeah,
in the last couple episodes.
exactly.
When she did her thing.
When she did her thing. When the real estate market crashed, it put his dire financial situation into perspective.
That'll happen.
Well, sort of.
No.
In later statements, he would indicate that at the time he was angry that the big banks were getting bailouts and he was being hung out to dry. Which, I mean, he did not stand alone on
Yeah.
that island. However, I mean, he didn't blame himself for a series of choices that had negatively impacted his family's financial situation. Some personal responsibility as well.
Yeah. No, it's always someone else or
It-
something else.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, with this next sentiment, he wasn't entirely wrong, but I think you can see where he might have gotten carried away. Anthony said it was corporate greed that had crashed the market, tanked his business, and placed him in this precarious financial position. He's not totally wrong, but I'm just saying, if you're spending $15,000 a month that you probably don't actually have, and you're in the business of turning over, these starter homes or homes that you're renovating.
If you put that energy and effort into that, you
Exactly.
probably would have been fine even through the hardship. What's it
It's hard
called?
to say. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to really call it, but
The crisis.
yeah.
Crises.
The crises. But I just think, probably their business was going to suffer and probably his family's financial situation was going to suffer. But I think it just says a lot about his mentality at that point that,
Yeah.
everybody was blaming the big banks, as they should. But also, two things can be true.
Yeah.
Anthony, never one to give up in the face of obvious defeat, came up with a new way to make money.
Of course.
And also exact a small bit of revenge on the big banking industry. He decided that rather than rob a bank, he'd instead target the armored vehicle delivering money to the bank. He learned absolutely everything that he could about the Brinks trucks making deliveries, their routes, the layouts of the interior of said vehicle.
Damn.
What, if any, vulnerabilities the vehicles had. He surveilled Brinks vehicles extensively, in some cases going so far as to play dress up again, like a landscaper this time, in an attempt to get a closer look while still blending in.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Sneaky snake.
Honestly, how someone doesn't end up on a government watch list at this point still baffles me, but here we are. And I probably am on a government watch list, but
Your Google searches.
Fine. Now, one thing Anthony carefully considered that many others often neglect to give careful thought. He realized he needed a solid getaway plan. The bank he'd chosen was located in the downtown area of Monroe near Highway 2, but it didn't actually have any direct access to a major freeway, which is what you want.
Yeah.
if you look at contemporary robberies of financial institutions, you'll quickly realize we've come a long way since the days of Bonnie and Clyde. Typically, the perpetrators want to act quickly, and in some cases, arguably most, depending on the source of your data, perhaps, may even be unarmed.
Mm.
Most robberies actually occur, they're perpetrated by unarmed assailants.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
don't really need it. The fear is like that you might have one is probably enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then the charges start to get stacked when you have a weapon.
Yeah.
So,
do they give you more time or whatever if you pretend like you have a gun?
they can in some instances. I know I've looked at cases where even if it was a fake weapon, they can still find a way to stack charges.
I feel like that's fair because
yeah, because that person is terrorized as if you had a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Anthony planned to do was not altogether unheard of. But just to put this in perspective, here's some data from the FBI for 2022. Over 1,500 bank crimes were committed at the teller counter in 2022, whereas none were reported for armored vehicles. So I think the little bit of research that I did about the statistics led me to believe this is exactly as ballsy as it sounds.
Wow.
Remarkably, over 1,000 of the aforementioned crimes used a demand note, but only roughly 200 involved the use of a weapon in some form or fashion, according to my reading. So in recent history, it's almost unheard of.
Wow.
Which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Not complaining.
Exactly. I have a personal story to share at the end of the case if we have time.
Oh.
Otherwise, it'll just be a little shorty bonus for the Patreon. Anthony explored a variety of ideas for his escape, but eventually all of his brainstorming led to a pretty wild idea. One just wild enough to work, maybe. Woods Creek, which feeds into Skokomish River, was close by. So he thought, what about escaping on a jet ski?
That sounds like a movie.
Unfortunately, he quickly learned that the creek was too shallow in places.
For a jet ski?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a crick.
Yes, yeah, kind of. Rather than abandon that idea entirely, he would spend weeks trying to dig out a path of greater depth to allow a jet ski to navigate the small body of water. I was like, God damn, this man is determined. And you know what? He's really determined that his escape should involve a jet ski, which I get it. They're cool.
He's like, God damn it, I had a dream and it will not be crushed.
Yeah.
I must have the jet ski.
Well, spoiler alert, he's not going to get the jet ski.
Oh, God. Well, hold on. Before we move on, I do have to say, since we are on a podcast and I am on a video, the entire time she was telling me about the digging up of the creek or the crick or whatever the fuck, I was just staring blankly and blinking into the camera because I don't have anything to say. Like
how does one respond to it's that?
Literally like if the Sandlot crew had decided to rob a bank.
She's not wrong. He did eventually abandon this strategy.
Okay.
But as was the case for Anthony at every point in his life prior, it didn't take long for him to come up with another plan.
A yacht.
Well, if a jet ski ain't making it through, a yacht, it's not going to happen.
You never know.
he started brainstorming how he might be able to use another slightly more subtle type of watercraft instead. Perhaps an inner tube.
I was going to guess like a raft or something. Okay.
Yeah. Raft,
Inner tube
inner
it.
tube.
Right.
If you're floating down the clack, those terms are interchangeable.
Doing a float.
But for anyone that's gone floating before, it's not the quickest mode of quote unquote transportation.
No, it's not. You're just floating, chilling.
Exactly.
Lazy river.
Yes.
For a reason.
So he created a cable system along the creek bed. Like along.
Okay.
I can't. He created a cable system along the creek to allow for propelling the small waterborne craft in some of the slower moving stretches of the water.
Okay.
It's not any crazier than trying to dig the creek deeper.
Just let's get a system of pulleys.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
This is the Sandlot crew.
Yeah.
It's just one dumb man instead of like 15 children.
I mean,
oops.
I've never met Anthony, so I can't tell you for certain that he's not actually 3 children stacked up in a trench coat.
And obviously he is like kind of smart and artistic, but like put that into something else.
Yeah. The creativity, the intelligence, the problem solving.
They have so much potential, these criminals, and they blow their big shot.
Yeah. You got one shot, one opportunity. Anyways, we should move on. He created a tearaway landscaper disguise so that he could initially blend in with others that would be outside of the bank at the time, and then also immediately change up his appearance in order to thwart detection as he escaped the area where he committed the crime. So that's actually pretty fucking brilliant.
It's got a tearaway costume.
Yeah. So all of the people that were there witnessing the robbery are going to remember a very specific description. And as soon as he gets far enough away, he's going to immediately change up his physical appearance.
It's very smart.
Like, that's brilliant.
It's just very dramatic.
It is.
It's just such a movie plot.
It's very Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
It's The Sandlot meets Ocean's 11.
That's great. It literally is.
It really is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it.
In the lead up to the heist, he placed an ad on Craigslist dating back to September 27th, 2008 for landscapers or day laborers, promising an hourly rate of $28.50 for a temporary job placement intended to last roughly a week. The fictitious project was referred to as the Beautification of Monroe Project. Respondents were told to wear a blue shirt and hat, neon safety vest and glasses, as well as a painter's mask. Half were instructed to report to the park across the street from the bank, Eagle Park. The remainder of the respondents were told to meet in a grocery store parking lot next to the bank.
Okay.
They were told that they should wait at each of their respective sites until they were greeted by a project manager that would provide further instructions.
Yeah, I bet they showed up.
Sure did. In all, he'd arranged for over a dozen decoys to be in the area where the robbery was to take place.
Oh my God, you totally were just like talking about Eminem, and then now there's all these Slim Shadys running around.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I got real silly there.
I don't think he's here.
Yeah. Well, I love that we both did that. Oh boy. On September 30th, 2008, just after 11 a.m., Anthony was waiting just outside the bank branch, posing as a landscaper. He set down his weed sprayer and revealed a can of pepper spray. He sprayed the armed Brinks guard directly in the face as he was attempting to take the money from the vehicle into the bank.
Jeez.
Yeah, they in some descriptions they called it bear mace, which makes it sound worse.
Oh, it is worse. It's bear mace.
I was like, I don't know what the difference is. Some sources called it pepper spray, some sources called it OC gel, some of them called it bear mace. I was like, all of it sounds terrible.
Bear mace is just like a real big can and it's real strong
it was
for bears.
Huge. It was huge. So I think it was actually bear mace.
Oh, God.
In any
Bears
case.
are coming up in every episode we talk about. Are we New Girl? Because there's like a bear in every episode.
I just keep thinking about the time earlier this week when I had to chop a whole red onion. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I like literally couldn't do it. If you bear mace me, like I just bury me now.
You're supposed to stick out your tongue while you chop onions. Because
I just turned on the hood.
The molecules want to find moisture. So if your tongue is out, they'll attach to that first and then not into your eyeballs.
Well, I cut it in half.
Onion
and like kind of walked away like a few steps.
Yeah.
And I turned on my overhead fan in the kitchen. And then after that, I had like no problems.
Or I wonder if you could even like put like a wet towel next to them. I don't know.
That's a good idea
Let's
too.
experiment with
I might
onions.
have had a wet towel on the counter. Come to think of it, actually.
You should do that next time.
Okay.
Just get wet. Just have a wet shirt.
Just have a wet t-shirt contest for one while I chop onions.
Do the dishes first and then chop your onions because you know you will have a wet shirt.
Yeah.
Life hacks with Cassie and Caitlyn. You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. This OnlyFans thing just keeps getting more and more real.
Yeah, them secrets aren't going to be free forever, okay?
That's right. He grabbed the 2 bags of money, taking off in the direction of the aforementioned aquatic getaway that he had planned so carefully, shedding his disguise as he did so. So this is just a man running with 2 enormous bags of money towards a crick, tearing off his clothes,
running to his inner tube. I'm seeing it all right now.
The visuals are just really stunning.
And even if this was a movie, I would still be laughing because it's all dramatic and action. And he's going to this inner tube that's like gonna maybe a little quicker from the police.
Yeah. Oh my God. As he ran away, he was nearly hit by an oncoming vehicle, causing him to abandon one of the bags, knowing that slowing down for even the briefest time could lead to his capture.
He lost a whole bag of money already.
Sure did. Yeah, he dropped one in the encounter with another vehicle. Yeah.
In the movie, the car does hit him and he like does a thing, but then like the money flies all over the place and then he gets up and he continues.
We really should be screenwriters.
I mean, I think we kind of are right now.
I guess so. Though he'd lost out on roughly half of the overall take, Anthony was still left with roughly $400,000.
It's a decent amount.
It's a pretty good amount of money.
I hope he brought a dry bag for that inner tube. Just saying.
I don't know. It wasn't brought up specifically, but it's good. It's good thinking. He's really hit or miss.
Yeah.
Real hit or miss. Mitch Ruth, a local real estate broker, placed a call to 911 after witnessing the robbery in real time. Mitch had decided in an instant to chase after the quickly escaping robber. He was armed at the time, but never attempted to fire on the man. Anthony got so fucking lucky.
Wow.
When asked why he chased after the man, Mitch said, "What do you say? I'm in real estate. Times have been tough. If a guy's got a bag of money like that, he's not getting away without buying a home. What do you say, you know?
Did he follow him long enough to catch the bag of money that he dropped?
I don't think so. I just thought it was really interesting because he talked about how this guy's running away and like, yes, he bear maced this person, which that's awful. But he was like, I am not
like,
the
here's
type
my
of
business
person.
card.
Well, more so though, the thing that he really talked about at length in, I listened to like a full documentary series. Like it's a podcast. It's an audio documentary series where they interviewed him at length. And he talked about how he's like, I'm not shooting a man in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a murderer. I'm not shooting a man in the back as he's running away.
For money. Yeah. No, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And I just thought like, wow, okay, cool. It's good to know that that's the type of person that lives in Monroe. Because holy shit, there's a lot of places you could go, I think, in this country and just be shot in the back for.
For real.
Why are you defending the big bank's money?
Yeah.
Like, I guess, okay, Boy Scout. I don't know.
I thought you were meaning
they wouldn't defend you.
No, obviously. Have they? I thought you were saying like why he chased after him because he
wanted the money.
He wanted to like
to actually get the guy. Sell him a house.
Yeah, to sell him a house.
I think he just said that to be funny. I thought that was a pretty.
That is funny.
Yeah, I thought that was a great joke. Like, there's literally not a more appropriate joke for somebody in his profession to make. So I liked it. He witnessed him shedding his disguise as he fled. When the police arrived on the scene, they reacted pretty much exactly as Anthony had hoped. Truthfully, in a fairly predictable way. And I just picture like a sequence from the Three Stooges now.
Yeah.
For about a minute.
With all the like.
Join me in that visual, won't you?
Decoys running around and they're like, woo, woo, woo.
They began interviewing the dozen or so people matching the description of the assailant that Anthony himself had hired through Craigslist.
That is like, that's so smart.
I know. So he had hired them through Craigslist to act as unwitting decoys. It's fucking brilliant.
He like basically didn't even have to pay them, right?
No.
Because they were going to get paid at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right.
But still, it's like you get free help and these people don't even know that they're assisting in a crime.
Nope. The longer they were held up with these interviews, the further Anthony was able to run. Or shall we say, propel himself.
Float.
Making pretty much a clean getaway.
Wow. You know what? I had this thought and I want to say it before I forget. It would have been even cleaner if he had just thought about one more thing. If he had like a smoke bomb and then ripped off the clothes.
That's really what he needs. Honestly, it just goes back to the smoke machine that we keep saying that we need for in this room.
Yes.
If it weren't the thing that would absolutely make this room toxic and kill us.
Someone tell us how to get a smoky, creepy room without dying. Yeah. Please. Okay.
Because I would do anything for this pod.
Dry ice? Can you be in a room with dry ice?
Yeah, because they put it in drinks even.
Right? That's not
dry ice.
Let's do that.
So I feel like that's going to be a real expensive. Like the production quality of this show is excellent.
Is dry ice expensive?
I have no idea, but if we have to buy it like enough.
You only need like a little bit.
I know, but for every week when we record, Cassie, I'm telling you.
It can be for like special occasions.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll play around with that. Tim Basil was the primary detective on the case.
Basil.
Yeah. It's spelled different than basil or basil. It's like with a Z.
Oh.
So it's interesting. I heard it pronounced several times, but I feel like I want to say it weird. I want to say it weird, you guys.
How do you want to say it?
I don't know, like Bazelle. Like
gazelle?
Yeah, like gazelle, but with a B.
Think of like razzle dazzle.
Yeah,
What's his name? Basil. Razzle dazzle Basil.
Razzle dazzle Basil.
There you go.
Okay. He'd been a financial analyst with Boeing prior to joining law enforcement. So it's funny because we were talking about Boeing in the beginning. Weird.
It's like everything in the world connects.
I know. And that was completely unintentional because you know I'm a goldfish and I could never remember this like 3 pages deep into my notes. He'd been at the nearby elementary school following up on a different case when he heard sirens. And though he didn't have his radio, he knew almost immediately that he should respond. So he didn't even know what was happening, but he was like, gotta go.
Sirens.
Mm-hmm. When Tim Razzle Dazzle Bazell
I was like, no.
arrived on the scene, the man that had been sprayed was still also on the scene. It's so terrible. I feel so terrible for him.
I like had a smile and it like slowly shifted into like what is this, like a grimace?
Like a grimace, yeah. He was not only trying to flush his eyes, but was also experiencing some difficulty breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that
down your
shit's
throat.
nar.
In your lungs.
That's nasty. God. Ugh. Multiple calls were placed to 911 within just minutes of the robbery, from inside and outside the bank, as well as the Brinks truck and others that came from passersby.
Wow, a lot of action.
A lot of people were like, hey, did you know they just like, they robbed that guy, you know, who brings the money? By the time law enforcement made it down to Woods Creek, the inner tube was long since abandoned.
Okay.
The only evidence Anthony had left behind of his crime were the remnants of his disguise and a vague description of a tall man with an athletic build who witnesses said they'd seen quickly making his way in the direction of the creek from what they could tell. The unexpected and mysterious crime became the talk of the town. Small town.
Yeah.
But it also is pretty wild.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like that would be the talk of a big town, too.
Yeah. It was a homeless man that came forward to the Monroe detectives that would lead to the undoing of our caper's perpetrator. And I realize that I've said homeless. I believe that's how he referred to himself, and he was referred to in a number of the various source material that I looked at. But on the whole, I think we don't necessarily love that term. He'd noticed a wig, mask, pepper spray, odd combo, near a dumpster in a spot that he was known to frequent. He'd called it in as he was concerned that it seemed odd and thought on the off chance of something untoward going on. He didn't want for anyone to suspect he had any connection.
Aw. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're a homeless or a houseless person.
Yeah.
You are an easy target.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. I know. He's like really thinking, like, that was so smart. So smart. And he's going to continue to be kind of a smart dude. The report taken by patrol included the details of the unusual stash. Nothing had come of the call initially, but they were glad the dispatcher had taken down his name. In order to track him down, after the robbery had happened, the detectives went to an area where a large unhoused population was known to congregate in sort of a little makeshift community. And they took with them a bag chocked full of McDonald's cheeseburgers and other goodies.
No.
These two, not just half.
Yeah.
Okay. They traded the burgers for information, and they were actually able to track down the man that had made the report.
Wow.
Yeah. Authorities had been unable to trace anything via the Craigslist ad, which they thought for sure, oh, there's a Craigslist ad. All of these people responded to that. Surely we'll be able to trace that. No dice.
Nothing.
So this was just the break. that they were looking for. He told detectives he'd also seen a man come out of the woods and take the stuff. So he'd seen this stuff a couple days prior. Somebody came and collected it. So he saw someone who may or may not be connected with the robbery. He'd written down the license plate of the vehicle that that person had been traveling in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I know you're going to be super surprised and not mad, but just disappointed to learn that the plate was linked to Emily Curcio. That's Anthony's wife.
Okay.
Just connecting the
Yeah.
dots. Honestly, I didn't know she was in on this whole thing. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. For legal reasons, I shouldn't say that.
She's not. Allegedly.
Yeah. But that's how they connected to one Anthony Curcio.
Very smart.
While they surveilled Anthony, they observed him on more than one expensive shopping spree, including the purchase of a Range Rover. He even took a trip to Vegas with friends and his teenage mistress.
It was all fun and games until the child abuse.
It's not great.
I was also going to ask, did he purchase a pool so he can swim in dollar bills?
Dollar bills, y'all. See, personally, I like to fill my swimming pool full of liquor and then dive in.
Champagne.
But I could see where we are on very different pages right now.
We can have a champagne pool with dry bags of money floating around in it. How's that sound?
I was literally going Kendrick Lamar, and I'm not even sure where you're at.
Champagne pool? Oh, you said like a vodka pool, huh?
Yeah, swimming pool full of liquor, and then you dive in.
Yeah.
It's that song Drank.
Yeah. I got you.
Oh, okay. I was like, I was like, am I being too cryptic?
Pool with champagne.
Oh, okay. We can have multiple alky pools.
There's a classy pool, and then there's whatever you were talking about.
Kendrick, I am so sorry.
You know what? I'm kidding because you know I like vodka, and you know in that pool it would have bubble like carbonation, like water pumped in, like bubbles
just
and like
in
lime
Grey Goose
floaties
and buble.
Yeah,
so many bubbles, so little time. You know. But here are a few details that were seemingly only discovered after the fact. His co-conspirator backed out at the last minute the night before the heist.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
Who were his co-conspirators?
I'm not going to. I don't think I have them specifically named. I think they've remained largely unnamed in a lot of the material out there in the world about this. But
shocked that
I know
anyone backed out of this genius plan.
Well, in the wake of this sudden change of heart, he enlisted 2 other friends as a getaway driver and lookout.
How do you just find these friends? Like, hey, you want to rob a bank in the garage? Drugs are bad. Okay.
Drugs are bad, okay. Unless you can afford them. It's terrible. It's terrible. I do rich person drugs, okay?
I need to go powder my nose.
Oh, God. No, I can't do that anymore.
No, oh, God.
Did you just whack yourself in the face?
No, I tried to like fake like sniff it, but I actually sniffed it. And
that didn't work that well for you.
Powdery hairs went up my nose.
Yeah. I feel like we've already had this conversation, but I feel like I've told you that like it doesn't work that well. Like when you like keep trying to put stuff up your nose. Like, you know, all good things must come to an end, as it were.
What I wanted to do was slyly reach over and grab one of the animal bones and stick it up my nose, but there wasn't enough time. The joke would have been over by the time I got there.
Oh my God. Okay. In all seriousness, do designer drugs. Okay. The lookout was to keep an eye on Highway 2 from across the way, the area where he had stashed his inner tube that was supposedly, this is the best part. This is the best. The inner tube that he used was also supposedly stolen property.
Oh, well, of course it was.
Well, I mean, you don't want to go out and buy an inner tube because, what if they go and check at the Walmart?
You know what I want to picture this inner tube is like one of those like pizza shaped ones or like the big unicorn.
I mean, honestly, it's almost as noticeable. It was like, you know that song Black and Yellow?
Yeah.
I just hear it every time I talk about the inner tube because it was literally like a fucking, not an actual bumblebee, but it was a black and yellow inner tube. Like it couldn't have been more inconspicuous.
Wow.
So anyways, where he had stashed the inner tube, that now sits on private property. If you've got a road noise kink or are just interested in hearing Anthony recount some of the events that took place, then you should check out the podcast series, The Sneak. You were like, he's a sneaky snake.
Sneaky snake. I just pick up on these things.
Yeah. There's a lone house nearby just across the street that Anthony had access to at the time through his real estate business. That's where his getaway driver was waiting. So this was kind of an interesting point that somebody made in the long form documentary. It seems like the smart thing to do at the time might have been just to wait out the initial police response to the robbery inside that house that you have access to.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Huh.
Like he talked about this and he was like, yeah, I could have even set up some like kind of phony showings and I could have like hung out there for hours.
Yeah.
And just like let the area clear completely and nobody would have like been the wiser.
Right.
I mean,
I guess like
they would have still connected this to him.
Yeah.
To be honest, because of our good friend. Who we'll come back to.
Okay.
It was the quaint downtown area of Monroe that his getaway driver started freaking out.
Freaking out, man.
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
Is that what it was like?
This is what it was like. The driver stopped, popped the trunk, and initially Anthony was able to get it closed again because he was inside the trunk.
Oh.
The guy was kind of like trying to be like, get the fuck out of my car. Like, I can't do this. And he just closed the trunk again.
Okay.
But the second time, he crawled out of the car, leaving the money in the trunk. He snuck into the laundry room of a nearby apartment complex, snatched a shirt he found to help switch up his look, and then walked over to the real estate office to place a call to his getaway driver, which, like, you were just with him. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with this. Why are you calling him?
Why do you leave the money in there?
So many questions. So many questions. That was the first question that I had.
Huh.
I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. I have to scroll. Sorry.
I feel like I really just need to see this on screen to understand.
I know. I really I need a visual representation of this nonsense.
Who should direct it? I don't know directors.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the big one? That guy.
I don't know. M. Night?
No.
Tarantino?
No. I feel like those two, maybe not.
Okay. Who's the guy that did Nightmare Before Christmas? Tim Burton?
Tim
He wrote it. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. I got nothing.
whimsical.
Yeah, it would. Well, it's pretty whimsical all in its own. Okay. The first time Anthony called, the driver didn't answer. The second time, he immediately hung up on Anthony after he heard his voice. Anthony's truck was parked a short walk away. But of course, he's kind of got a lot of stuff going on right now. He's a little bit nervous about walking around in public as the guy who just robbed the bank, but
right, and his money is gone. So
yeah. It just gets better though. Anthony called the lookout, who turned out to actually also be a dud, having bailed on the plan. So he never showed up at the Bank of America. He was never being a lookout. You're the lookout and you chickened out.
You didn't make sure your lookout was there?
I know. I'm weird.
Huh. Who's looking out for the lookout?
I don't know. Probably somebody who's sober. He described the odd feeling of looking up and seeing helicopters that, unbeknownst to anyone around him, were in fact looking for him. He got to his truck and then met with his getaway driver in another nearby small town. Though he was super pissed about his unreliable support team, particularly the getaway driver, he didn't have much time to waste on that conflict. And besides, they'd keep quiet, knowing he'd dropped his walkie-talkie along the escape route. It was intended to be a clever way of alerting authorities to the fact that there was more than one guilty party, to keep the others in check.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of genius.
Yeah. Ugh.
I know. It took me a long while to figure out. I was like, okay, so why did he even have a walkie? Sometimes you just can't lead a horse to water. I was really struggling for a minute and I was like, they've not talked about these walkie-talkies once. What the fuck is happening with these fucking walkie-talkies? I must have been hungry. I don't know.
You want to eat walkie-talkies now?
No. No, I must have been hungry when I was doing that part of my research though, because I was like, I don't get it. Who the fuck cares about the walkie-talkies?
I do.
Somewhat limited as they were, Anthony's undoing, as with any other criminals, would be simple mistakes or oversight. Because he did, a fair few things right-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
They recovered the mask that the assailant had worn from the scene of the robbery, from which they were able to pull a DNA sample.
Wow.
So that's probably why you shouldn't leave that behind. Authorities were convinced that Anthony was their guy because they'd already, uncovered that the license plate of a vehicle registered to his wife, that whole thing, thanks to their unhoused witness, Dennis.
What if it was a stolen vehicle?
Could have been, but they didn't probably have any reports from Emily about her vehicle being stolen.
What if she didn't know?
I mean, good lawyering. Anyways, let's focus on the wholesomeness of the name Dennis.
Yeah.
Through the course of surveilling Anthony, they were able to watch for anything being left behind or discarded that might possibly contain his DNA, so they could try matching it to the sample left on the mask.
Sneaky snakes.
Mm-hmm. That's why that Brian Koberger douche was bagging up his trash everywhere. And
right, yeah.
As luck would have it, at some point while he's gassing up his Range Rover, he tosses out a Gatorade bottle that he'd been using as a spit cup for his chew.
Ah,
It's like
nasty.
the most disgusting thing.
Can they even get DNA out of that? That's so gross.
They definitely can.
Chew soup.
Trying to keep the gagging about this internal only now because I swear to God, I could have made myself throw up.
You want to hear a gross story?
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
I'll just say I do a lot of like can collecting for like Puplandia, the donations.
No.
I'm not going to say anymore.
Oh my God. Do you know I had someone sit in my car? You guys, men are trash, okay? And I can vouch for that because I'm getting married, but I found all of the trash first. Okay.
She
Found all of
sifted through the trash.
Yeah. Okay. Some men are frogs. I found all the trash. Okay. I was like, well, no, let's go dumpster diving. I've had a man sit in my car with a red Solo cup full of chew spit. And I said, oh gosh, could you use a bottle or something with a lid? And he was like, it's fine. And you know what he did less than a minute later?
He spilled it.
He spilled it all over the seat. Words can't describe to you how much I want to hurl right now.
That is like, ugh. Even if you hadn't spilled it, it fucking smells and it's wide open.
It's gross. Yeah, put it in a bottle for fuck's sake.
Yeah, come on.
I hate the bottles. Also, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
Why do they pick a clear bottle?
I don't know, because they like to see how disgusting they are.
Really, really disgusting, just in case anyone was wondering. Anyhoozle, science. The lab was able to confirm the DNA match based off this sample, but at what cost? Ugh.
I hope they were wearing a hazmat suit.
I know. Okay. The ends justify the means, but I'm just saying, I'm not the crime scene tech who drew the short straw on that day. I'm really glad.
I'm glad I'm not a crime scene tech.
Yeah.
That would just be, gosh, thank you, whoever does that. Because holy shit.
The Lord's work, yar. Okay. On November 4th, 2008, when Anthony was arrested, what? While he was at Target.
Eureka!
He had $17,000 in cash with him. That's not in any way suspicious. Just some walking around money, okay?
Yeah.
He was at Target, okay? I frequently would like to take $17,000 with me to Target.
That sounds like one of those dream like game shows. Like, here's $17,000. Go to Target and buy as much as you can in 30 seconds.
When a search warrant was executed on their home, none of the money was found.
Okay.
It had been stashed with a friend.
Oh. A squirrel?
Oh my gosh. I just think it's so funny because I'm like, he already drove off with your money once. Are you really going to trust?
Oh, is
I
it
don't
still
know
with that guy?
I don't know if it's the same guy. I'm assuming.
Oh.
Because I would like to think that he probably wouldn't be dumb enough to involve additional people at this point. But that might be asking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was charged in the local county court, but due to the Hobbs Act dating back to the 1950s, it wasn't immediately qualified as a federal crime because he didn't enter the bank.
Oh, did he know that? Did he do that on purpose? Or?
I don't know that he did. I think he just thought logistically it would be easier. But that's a really great loophole.
Yeah.
It doesn't become a federal offense until the money's actually inside the bank. I feel like that loophole's got to be closed.
Wow.
But extenuating circumstances in a robbery allow for federal charges to be brought. So, which extenuating circumstances, that's so subjective.
Yeah.
So subjective. I just feel like, ooh,
So
you
they're
really want
kinda
to roll
like,
those dice?
"That's a dumb rule."
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Both the prosecutor and the judge were seemingly a bit amused by the clever planning that went into the robbery.
Bet.
Yeah. Saying he'd almost succeeded in carrying out the perfect crime. Which I'm like, Your Honor, I object.
That was, very generous.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more clever and well planned out. Like, he definitely did a lot more research. The execution was a little bit rougher on the edges. Um, I would say compared to other robberies, though, like,
Yeah.
but come on.
They showed real inventiveness.
Yeah, he really did. Anthony could have been facing up to 20 years, but the prosecutor asked for just 5 in his recommendation to the judge. His addiction appeared to have been a factor in this decision, which
Did that give
that's
him
fair.
more or less time?
No, I think the DA wanted to pursue less time because they felt like they wanted him to get help. They saw how intelligent, how gifted, how motivated that, this man was. And even under the influence, like,
Yeah.
he, I mean, he very clearly could have nearly gotten away with this.
Yeah.
So,
They had a plan in mind to get him help and didn't just hope he would.
well, yeah, go to jail because there's no drugs there.
Yeah, go to jail, you'll get sober, you'll be reformed, everything will be
Yeah.
fine.
It carries a lot of weight. It's a heavy thing, it's a heavy topic, but it also, like, you have to kind of find a way to cope with it. It's just, I don't know. And I think that's how a lot of Anthony's family felt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's, like, nothing you can do but, like, be there
Yeah,
when they need help, I guess.
exactly. I
Yeah.
think hopefully you can find ways to, like, try to be helpful to them in a way that's not enabling.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's so tricky.
it is.
Yeah. Anthony's friends and family also submitted over 100 pages of letters explaining how those that knew him had seen his struggles but attested to his character and potential. They asked for leniency as the judge considered his sentencing. Because, like, obviously, guys, like, do I even need to connect the dots here? Like, we all get that. Like, he was arrested. He's obviously found guilty and he's sentenced. Like, I was like, I feel like I kind of sped through some of that, but I'm like, listen, I feel like this goes without saying almost. Um, in the end, Anthony was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. Emily and Anthony reunited after his sentence and worked through the issues in their marriage brought up by his addiction. As far as I know, they are still together.
Oh,
She's a saint of a woman, literally. Saint Emily.
wow.
Yeah. He wrote and illustrated well over a dozen. Just take several seats and deep breaths here. This is wild to me, but I also kind of love it. Wrote and illustrated well over a dozen children's books while incarcerated, some of which were aimed at helping kids cope with the incarceration of a parent.
Oh,
I know. It
well,
was
that's
that
fucking
makes me,
sweet.
like, want to cry.
Jesus.
I know.
Way to be a good guy.
I know. I think it was literally called My Daddy is in Jail.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my God.
God.
Others focused on highlighting sports figures and important lessons that could be taken away from their successes. Because fucking sports again, Anthony.
Sportsin'.
He also wrote a book about the crime itself called Heist and High.
You know, I like this little H&H thing he's got going on. I'm a fan.
Yeah. He's also done a TED Talk. So if you want to go look that up. Now, there's a line that I redacted from my notes as I was reading them because I realized that I told you I can't tell you the initials.
You realize I was only half listening to the rest of the episode ever since you said that because I was thinking about what that could have been.
Yeah. Okay. So don't let me forget, I have a personal story, but remember I said Woods Creek, which feeds into Skokomish River, was close by. So he thought, what about escaping on a jet ski? And the line that I redacted from my notes was, honestly, is that any crazier than the daring escape made by his namesake? And Cassie goes, I don't fucking know who's his namesake.
Who's his namesake?
So Anthony has been dubbed DB Tuber. And I was trying to come up with a clever way of like making you think that I was going to talk about DB Cooper. But you kind of talked yourself into it. I didn't even have to come up with a backstory or like
how did I know?
I don't know.
I had no clue what you were going to talk about. How did I just like mention that?
I have no idea. It was so random, but because I was really trying to think of like, oh my God. Okay, so like what kind of like a backstory or like how could I make my notes more like general just so that she really thinks this is about DB Cooper.
This could be DB Cooper. Maybe he was DB Cooper.
I think because he wasn't born until after the crime occurred.
I don't know. He's pretty
crafty. Like I'd like to see some identification.
Time machine. You know, his disguises are legendary.
I mean, that's true.
He could not even be this Anthony guy.
Yeah, it's true.
What if he zips off his Anthony suit and he's a lizard underneath?
And we've arrived at lizard people.
You're welcome. We can end the podcast now. We are done. Cheers.
Cheers.
I guess we should do one last tarot read, maybe.
Bitch, I've already written notes for more cases. You're stuck with me.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Well, I would like to refill my glass, and I think we should do some tarot, but maybe I will share my personal story before we get into it.
Yes.
Because I do have some other feel-good things that I can share for our Patreon as a little bonus for this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more DB Tuber facts.
That is so funny. DB Tuber. The whole time I was like, this it's what? Similar in the craziness aspect.
Yeah, it really is.
The movie like shenanigans.
So cinematic.
DB Tuber.
All right. Well, should we?
Are you going to tell your story now or
no? I'm gonna. Let's switch over.
Let's
get. Okay. I'll do that right before we do the tarot. Yeah. Okay. Pausity pause.
DB Tuber. This one goes out to you.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Ooh.
Oh. High priestess.
Okay. Oh, I think I found the one I wanted. Okay. Oh,
What'd you get?
the Two of Cups in reverse.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Two of Cups, our keywords are partnership, harmony, creative exchange, and cooperation.
I wonder if it does. I was like, I don't know about this, but I don't know about reverse. So I know the upright's a good card. But.
Yeah. In many decks, the Two of Cups shows a man and woman holding chalices as if toasting each other. The card represents joining forces with someone either romantically or in a creative/spiritual endeavor. You share a common dream, interest, or passion and can work together to bring it into being. Mutual respect and equality exist between you. Okay. When the Two of Cups appears reversed, it suggests disharmony and a lack of cooperation.
I was kind of thinking so.
It may mean a partnership takes a while to get going, or that you run into obstacles.
Or that all your partners keep ditching you.
Yeah, exactly. In some cases, it indicates dwindling affection, inequality, or a lack of supportiveness in a relationship. You're gonna love this. In a reading about money, the reverse two can signify an uneven investment of resources.
Oh, wow.
It can represent complications or a delay in receiving money, especially from a joint venture, trust, divorce, settlement, or legacy, which I don't think any of those describes
a heist.
Yeah. If the reading is about your job, this card may mean you don't feel a business partner is pulling his or her weight, or you don't get the support you desire.
You don't get that lookout, you know?
Or your getaway driver keeps opening the trunk.
Trying to go over speed bumps. Oh, God.
It can also point to a lack of cooperation in your workplace. In a reading about love, the reverse two sometimes represents a secret liaison. Holy shit.
Didn't he have like a child bride? Not a bride, but.
Yeah. Or it may point to a period of disharmony or cooling affection. Perhaps there is a lack of balance or equality in a relationship. I mean, I'd say so.
Yeah.
She's at home tended to you chillins, and you are in Vegas with your child, not bride, and a bunch of buddies.
Ew.
Apparently
he made up for it if they're still together. So
yeah. Let's hope so.
I just hope she's okay. And this whole thing, I hope she's okay. And the kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a lot for a family to go through.
I am just realizing I meant to tell my story before we did the tarot, but it's really short. So I'll just say this before we sign off. I actually worked at Washington Mutual, or WAMU, if you're nasty, before it was bought out by Chase. In this very time period, actually. During the 2008, 2009 kind of that period of time, during the sort of financial crisis that many of us remember and not fondly. And I actually was there, and I was next to a teller that was robbed.
Oh, God.
My experience with a bank robbery is that I did not know that we had been robbed until people started closing the bank doors. And I was like, oh, what is going on? It is midday.
Ooh, half day. I didn't know it was half day.
Yeah. And the teller that I worked with, he tried to give the guy the bait money, and he tried pushing his button, and it turned out that his, it's not they don't call it like a I don't think they call it a panic button, but it's like, a button that's supposed to kind of, like, alert the authorities, and, his wasn't working. Um,
Oh God.
yes, this particular, gentleman had actually robbed a number of banks in the area, and he was eventually caught. I will say this, all of his, robberies, he walked away with, I think, less than $5,000 from each and every single one of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because what happens is you walk up to a teller with a note, as this person did, and you just say, "Give me the money," or however you wanna word it, and this is not a suggestion or a tip. This is just how it tends to go down. And that person is kind of trying to just act normal. Because again, like we talked about, they have no idea if you're armed. They have no idea what your intentions are beyond obviously trying to take money from the bank. And luckily, I mean, everybody was fine. It was a little bit like, I think, people feel a little bit shaken after that.
Yeah.
I will say this, the most upsetting part of the entire experience is that the policy of the particular financial institution that I worked for at the time, can't remember if it was WAMU or if it was Chase at this point. So probably they have the same policy. But um, if you were on shift when a robbery occurred, you could make the choice as a team to just go ahead and take the rest of the day off and it would be paid. My team opted out.
Why?
They were like, yeah, no, let's just go back to work.
Why? It's paid.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't, because they're going to pay you either way. And honestly, even though nobody's holding a gun in your face, it is a little bit traumatizing to realize that someone came in with that sort of intention and
Right.
was
And
in your space. And
who gets to make that decision for everybody? Like everyone reacts to things differently.
literally everyone else decided pretty much to go back to work. I think there was like one other person that was kind of like quietly in the background, like me being like, I mean, like, we could just take the day.
I'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm going to go have a minty bee.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. 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 But I guess, I don't know. Maybe it was like you could do it as an individual and it didn't have to be like the whole branch closes down. I have no idea. This was so many years ago, but yeah, I feel like it should be on an individual basis, not like the whole branch has to take a vote and it has to be like unanimous.
Yeah.
Also, it wouldn't have been unanimous.
Yeah.
Because your girl would have taken a few hours off.
Damn, that sucks, dude.
We were like halfway through the shift for most of us. So it was kind of like.
Did they at least like get you guys lunch or like donuts or some shit?
Nope. And yes, again, I realize nothing violent or obviously traumatizing happened, but like the company policy is to like, if you want to, you can take the rest of the day. And here's the thing, as awful as it is, and I certainly wouldn't compare my experience to someone who has been in like a more aggressive bank robbery, I will say this, there was something so unsettling about having been present for this thing that's taking place and having really like no idea.
Like you were in danger, but you don't know. So then now you're every time you're at work, you're like, am I in danger right now?
Right.
I could be. Am I going to get shot right now? Probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. And that was a branch that was very conveniently located to a major highway.
Oh. Yeah. They should stop doing that.
You may be familiar with it. It's called the Tualatin Valley Highway.
Oh, yes. Yes. I've been there. Yeah. I've seen it. around.
My headphones keep slipping, you guys. I'm losing it over here.
Oh no, she's losing her hair. Did you finish all of the
I did,
interps?
yeah. Are you going to read us from the little book?
Let's see what this says. It is, usually these are kind of like towards the upright. So
they are, yeah.
It might be like a little lovey-dovey, but I'll just like glance at it. I feel like I had one more thing to say and I can't remember what it was.
Well, I probably just rambled on and on and on.
No. It was like, what were we talking about right before your story?
Oh, God.
This is a memory quiz right now.
Yeah, well, I think you know already that I fail.
Ooh, these are violet green swallows. So like there's a lot of green on the thing. Green on the thing. Green because money.
Green because, you know, he loves money.
Yeah. It's kind of like an invisible string lovers meet type of deal with this little thing.
I'm sorry, did you say invisible string?
Yeah.
As in Taylor Swift's Invisible String song?
I did. Okay. Do you want me to read this? Since it relates to the pod because Taylor Swift.
Let's just do it. It's for fun.
I'll read it. If
people
it's too
don't
long,
want to hear it, they can, you know, not listen.
Right. Go away. The swallows is it S with an apostrophe? How do you say that? Swallows. Just swallows?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not swallows?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
How many times can I say swallows?
Oh, I don't know.
The swallows' paths crossed. I said paths really good that time. And everything changed for them both. Had the wind not carried her a little further than she'd planned to go that day, or had yesterday's storm not forced him to land early, they would never have encountered one another. It's kind of like the unhoused guy being like at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's like all of these little, all of these invisible strings, like all of these things that it's, you know, it's a series of events, right? Where Anthony really he could have gotten away with this, but there's like things drawing back to him. And I don't know. Okay, I'm going to let you finish.
He couldn't quite cut all of the red strings back to him.
Yeah.
The red conspiracy
strings, not invisible at all.
not invisible. DB tuber. Had he not twittered loudly as he sunbathed, they would never have collected grass or twigs or feathers together. Had she not swooped past at precisely the right moment to catch his showy display, they would not later shape their collection into a cup in that hollow fur.
Interesting.
Oh, like I see. They're like stashing things away for like their home.
Okay. That makes sense. It's like, okay, that makes me think like to just the idea popped into my head of like a nest egg. And like they're this young family and the two of them just have like this incredible connection where, you know, she's really stood by him over the years.
Yeah. Well, and he's like trying to like collect this money and like hide it away. But then the reason I kind of got sidetracked because it was like his showy display. And I was like, this guy's fucking showy ass display of a heist. Oh, God. Had her first return display to him not complemented the choreography of his own, they would never have bonded or laid eggs or incubated them or hunted for insects to feed their brood.
Oh, he was hunting for insects, you guys.
To feed his brood.
Yeah.
Plus some other
extracurriculars.
Yeah. But all those things conspired to occur. Whether through chance, serendipity, or fate, their paths didn't just cross, they converged. Yeah.
I feel like that's a great word. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That was good. Okay, that was good. I'm glad I read that.
Yeah, me too. That was better than I thought it would be. Because sometimes they're a little, like, fluffy.
Yeah.
That was better. Yeah.
How good was it? It was so good.
It was so good. I do have a little like Patreon mini-sode, just some little like add-on things that I found related to this case that don't really fit in neatly, and we're probably already running long for this episode. So I'm gonna take this over to the Pates.
Okay. The Pates.
The Pates. Yeah, I don't know.
The Pete's?
I've heard people call Patreon the You know what? It's a thing, okay?
You know what? I was thinking the other day of like, what's a cool like word for Patreon that's like not taken.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was just like randomly like, cleaning and just like thinking about you guys and like how cool you are and you deserve a cool name. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you're like, and I came up with nothing, but I was thinking about you.
I was. The thought counts.
It's the best of intentions, like for real though.
Like we can call them like
like
I didn't really have anything in mind.
She's like, I got nothing.
I was like,
even
maybe
on
if
the
I
spot.
start to say something, something will
It'll
fall out of
come
my
to
mouth.
you.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works that way, and then sometimes it really, really don't.
Yeah.
I love it. We've had some pretty good luck coming across like fun nicknames for different things, and
yeah,
I'm sure we'll come up with something fun.
For now, you're just our creepy Patreon people. And that's, your CPP. That's fine. CPP. CPP.
I'm dead. We have to go.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna devolve into giggles that won't be like they're not camera ready.
Okay. Have a creepy ass day.
See you next Tuesday.
Or what?
Whenever you go tubing.
I was gonna say like unless you like missed your stop on the inner tube and you just like kept floating
out into the ocean
with your one bag of money because you lost the other, and then you just live amongst the fishes and you turn into a merman.
I don't know, like maybe you just like stop off when you hit the San Juans?
I don't know, where's that?
It's like the San Juan Islands. They're in the Puget Sound.
Can you be a mermaid there?
I mean, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, I really think
you could be a mermaid there
if you just keep going on the inner tube and make it to the ocean, because all cricks lead to the ocean, and then you turn into a merman and live with all your monies under the sea.
Under the sea,
and then you're Ariel's dad, and that's how that origin story happened.
Okay. Yeah. So DB Tuber and King Triton, one and the same.
Yes.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Good to
DB
know.
Tuber is King Triton.